Hey everyone, how's it going? Good? Have a good Breakpoint? Safe from the rain? Hi everyone, my name is John. I run the ecosystem engineering team at the Solana Foundation, and I've had the privilege of working with every one of the folks that are up here. We're going to be talking about Solana Pay, but before we start, why don't we do some quick intros? I'll start with CM.
Hi everyone, I'm CM. I am co-founder of Monstray, and what Monstray is onboarding merchants onto Solana Pay. Yeah.
I'm Isaac. I'm a managing director of Venta right now. Venta, for those of you that haven't used it yet, it's like the fridges and all the POSs you've seen all around campus, as well as these wristbands.
Hello, I am Fernanda Orduña, and I am the co-founder of Decaf. What we do at Decaf is mainly two things: payments through the Decaf POS that now is Venta, and we also focus on international payments, on and off ramps, and mainly remittances. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, you mentioned this, Isaac. I want to start with you. We have this wonderful activation here at Breakpoint where folks can buy stuff with Solana Pay. I would love to hear a little bit more about how that came to be, tell us a little bit more about the stuff that you've been doing with Monstray and how they all kind of fit together.
Yeah, so day one, Venta didn't just come out of nowhere. We've been working together, at least these three teams, for probably the past 8 months now, working with Monstray and some of their NFC tech, their tap to pay, the Decaf team, which is the best POS I've personally ever used, really getting comfy with them. And then I was working with Samo as well, and we were doing a reward system program. So you would go to these hacker houses, you would buy some Samo merch, you would get Samo back, you'd use their POS, and you could also pay using the wristband. And we did that all the way up until I think Play GG, which is when you kind of first saw us. Yeah. And we started talking, we were like, why don't we just offer an all-in-one payment solution? If you're doing something like maybe Breakpoint, a massive festival with 3,000 people, and you want to do everything on chain, and you want to make it easy, why don't we provide that for people? And that's kind of how Venta came to be.
I'm curious from the Monstray standpoint, tell us more about the NFC wristbands and how that whole system works.
Yeah, so how it usually works is initially we started off as gift cards, and we thought that wasn't the PMF, and we wanted, and onboarding merchants is extremely hard because the attention span is so limited. The moment you tell them about, it's digital currency, and you immediately lose interest. So when we started, we kind of use it as a closed ecosystem, so vouchers or stuff they can relate to, and we put it on this wristbands that organizations can white label it. So I think that's how we start, and I think we have been very lucky to be able to work with such amazing teams to help us to push this product forward.
I'm curious, given that you've done this at a few different hacker houses now, do you see differences in the regionality between each of those activations?
Yeah, absolutely. I think one, it's every hacker house is a little different, right? And what people want out of certain hacker houses depends where that hacker house is. I think the first time I worked with you guys was over in Ho Chi Minh. Yeah. And that was really nitty gritty. They want to see the blockchain side of things, and they want to understand the tech. And it's kind of using things for the sake of using crypto and seeing if you can break and what you can build with it. Then you look at the activation we did in New York, and it was very much how can I do this transaction to make it not feel like crypto? How to the end user that's maybe not a Solana maxi, how can we get them to transact and not make it feel like crypto, make it feel like using a card but better. So yeah, it really depends on the audience and what the activation is.
Speaking of regionality, Fernanda, in Decaf, you are operating a wallet and you have all of these off-ramps all over the world. I'd love to maybe make that a little bit more tangible for the folks here. I saw a tweet where I think might have been Rick, someone went to MoneyGram right here in Amsterdam to pull out some euros, but I'm curious to know more about the regionality and some of the problems that you've seen with that.
Yeah, for those who haven't seen, we did this tweet where Rick is getting cash out of a MoneyGram location that is 500 meters away from our hotel. And he's getting cash euros from his USDC. really low fees. So it is actually really, really great. And it is like an innovation that we have done in our wallet. And now we also have it in Decaf Pay. So with this, people basically can go from USDC to any local currency in 184 countries, thanks to this partnership with MoneyGram. But also in 6 countries now in Latin America, you can send USDC to your bank account for really, really low fees, which is great because this means that people can send money internationally and then off-ramp whenever they need or hold into US dollars, USDC, till the moment that they need to use it. And this is really cool, and I think that it's really relevant for this because people were asking us, well, what if I put money in this band and then at the end of the event I still have some money left? And we are like, well, you can actually off-ramp this money into fiat, into euros, by going to a MoneyGram location. And you can do that in the Decaf wallet or in Decaf Pay, that is the web version. So yeah, pretty excited about that. We are actually about to release the web version. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm curious, of those many countries, where do you see the most pickup? Are there specific places that find this to be really, really useful more than others?
Yeah. It's interesting because we always said that our focus was Latin America, and we have seen mainly from Latin America, places like Colombia, Argentina, Brazil, Mexico, that is where people want to hold value in US dollars. Is something really important for them because of the inflation, devaluation in these areas. But something that we saw is that we started getting traction from places in Africa, and we never marketed for these regions, but I think that these people are like so willing to look and find new opportunities and new ways to off-ramp, and that makes sense, that is cheap, that brings them some value, that they are able to just find us even without any marketing, and that's what happened with Africa. So now the most users are between Africa and Latin America.
That's amazing. Have there been people who have asked for other stablecoins?
Yeah, sometimes we get asked for the Eurocoin. And actually, at Decaf, we are not like close to a single chain, a single coin. We just add what makes sense. And we always listen to the market. And based on that is how we are developing our products. So if at some point we decide that it makes sense to add a Eurocoin, we will do it. Yeah.
That's amazing. I'm going to switch gears a little bit and talk a little bit about the human side of all of these things. So we have seen Solana Pay as a specification, as a protocol. If you're not familiar with it, it specifies a few different things, from transfer requests to transaction requests that we see in QR codes. It seems like it should be pretty easy to use, but we don't actually see it that often, maybe even here, but a lot of people still have trouble with here. I'd love to hear a little bit more about what you think is sort of the hurdle to get to the point where people have mobile wallets and it feels easy to use. I'll start with Isaac. Yep.
Yeah, I think it's kind of funny. The hardest part is getting in, and then right after that is getting out. We've worked quite a few events now. We've been working with like every hacker house since inception, especially like from a SAMO standpoint. We've pretty much been here since day one. And we've seen every type of payment possible. And the hardest part wasn't doing payments. Since I first started using Solana Pay, it's been really easy to use. And it's just like really well built, and it's kind of a no-brainer use case for Solana. High throughput, high TPS, really low fees. It's just like, it's made for payments. So like, what's the issue, like you said? And I think it's just getting people on. If you don't have Solana, you don't have a crypto wallet, you don't have USDC, it's really hard to justify walking up to a register, going to pay with it, then being like, wait, let me swap out real quick. I got to go on Coinbase, and I got to buy Solana, and then I got to send my Solana to my Phantom wallet because the Coinbase wallet wasn't working. So then I'll scan this QR code, and I hope that works out. And then if that doesn't, like, do I get a cool shirt with the dog on it? It's like, yeah, fingers crossed. And that's just like not a good way to do business. People that do business that way were purely doing it for the sake of it being crypto. I know that's why I did it. I wanted to support it, and it was crypto. It was cool. I'm buying stuff with like this money that I talk about all the time, and like I'm actually existing with it in real life. But what we ended up finding out is like if you can make the on-ramp easy, you don't have to be like a crypto maxi or a Solana maxi to want to buy something. You can actually build a product that is better than the product that's used right now, and the people don't even have to know that they're using a better product. Like what we're doing right now, right? We partnered up with unlimited. So you can use a debit card, you can use a credit card, you can onboard just by tapping this wristband. And if you put in 20 bucks, you'll get 20 USDC in. You pay with that wallet, it's tap to pay, something we're all used to with a debit card, and it goes through right away. Our dev Kai actually over from Monster built it out, and it's like, it takes seconds. And it just feels really natural, like it's a good product, it's something you're used to. And for a lot of people, if you use it, like if I gave this to my mom and she used it, she wouldn't even know it's crypto, and like that's the beauty of it. And then the hardest part after that was, okay, like we just talked about, it's like, I have money on here, I'm leaving Breakpoint now, it's Friday night, how do I get it out? And then that's where it's like, this decaf pay thing is just like completely changed it. We're now at a point where you can exist and transact using crypto, not know it's crypto, and you're not using it for the sake of crypto, you're using it because it's actually a better product. Like, my favorite example is, I drink a lot of coffee, like big surprise, we all work in crypto, we're all caffeine addicts. And every day, I buy coffee from the same shop, and we have like this little punch card. And I notoriously forget to like get my punch card punched, right? So it's like, what's a crypto use case there that can like fix that? You look at like payments on Solana, and you can bake in a system where every time you pay, you receive a CNFT back, right? CNFTs are cheap. We actually talked earlier, it's like, I'm sure we all saw the report, like what if Solana hit $3,000? Like, I wonder what it would cost to mint an NFT. It's like, well, if it was a normal NFT, it'd be 75 bucks just to mint the thing. But with the CNFT, it's 1 cent still. So if you're a coffee shop, you can mint a ton of these things, it costs you nothing, and that's your loyalty program. You buy 10 coffees, I don't have to remember, like I can show you my wallet, I think, if I have it on me.
You left it there, no?
Yeah, let me see. This is, so I go to this coffee shop every day. Yeah, and I think I have one punch because I forget every time. And it's like, we could bake it in where I buy my coffee, I receive the CNFT for the loyalty program, and when I buy that 10th coffee without even knowing it's free, they know because they can check the wallet and translate it, and then the sale goes through. It's just like, no more using crypto for payments for the sake of it being crypto, it's using it because it's a better product. That's just like got me most excited about Vento right now.
That's pretty awesome. I'm curious, just to pull on that thread, what are some of the other reasons why merchants might want to do it? One example is, people that are using the Selecta machines might be getting some other extras, right? But like, what are the other ideas that would help incentivize merchants to go beyond the loyalty and find different ways to justify, using crypto payments?
I think
Go ahead.
I think if I can touch on that, because like we come from a very long way of onboarding merchants. So like back then, because I'm based in Singapore, so like although we are a very crypto friendly industry, like not a lot of merchants that accept crypto. I think that's the main thing, is that they want cash right away. So I like back to the thing is that if let's say we were to onboard merchants with crypto, why Solana or why like Web3 is because it has an international market. So then they can immediately access, like I think what we did with Shopify is really cool. Like you can immediately buy goods, you can pay with like crypto and stuff. And I think we have onboarded like a bunch of merchants from selling accessories, so like pet products, that can use Solana Pay, access the international market, access the Solana community that we have, and they can have the funds, and then we'll have like an off-ramp that allows them to get their fiat straight into their bank. Yeah.
That makes sense. I've heard of the international payment case for places like Japan, where they have a lot of tourists and they want to participate in the digital money system there, but they can't because they don't live in Japan, they don't have the Japanese bank accounts, but they're accepting crypto, then they'd be able to get that, and the merchant, it settles in whatever they want, but I think that's a pretty cool use case.
Yeah, and I also think that another perspective of why merchants would want to accept crypto payments is if you focus in, for example, again, Latin America, these merchants will be getting payments, international payments, but holding their payments in US dollars, which means that they are protecting themselves from devaluation and inflation of their local currencies. And this is very important for them because it's what people struggle a lot with currently in places like Argentina, for example. People don't want to accept card because the money takes 1 month or arrives at the end of the month to their bank accounts. And by then, it's worth maybe 20% less. So imagine if these merchants are able to get the money in USDC, then they protect themselves from inflation and devaluation, and then they can off-ramp whenever they are actually going to use the money. So this is, I think, a huge advantage and a reason why people and merchants should be interested on start accepting these crypto payments. And also for us to develop this type of products that other people are interested on using and not just stay in the Solana community, but getting out of it and getting everyday people to start adopting us, because actually makes sense, not because it's cool, and because it actually saves them money, protects their wealth, everything. And also, other cool thing that they could do is, like, for example, I don't know if you saw the announce of Etherfuse, that now they are allowing stable bonds. That is basically through crypto, you invest in the Mexican government bonds. And this is super cool because, for example, as a merchant, you could be holding your value in US dollars, but then on the top of that, you can invest that money in a stable bond and then maybe be making 11% on that money. So instead of losing so much money, you are actually making more. And that's why people should be interested in these technologies and adopting it, because it's really helpful and it's really cool. It's not just cool, it's like,
Useful.
you know what I mean? No,
It's real, yeah. It's like
real,
not a meme anymore. It's awesome.
Now it's like, it actually has like a real impact in real world problems. Yeah.
It makes total sense. Kind of continuing off of this, like, what are the obstacles? What are the things that need to happen? What is, I guess, maybe looking forward, how do we get to that world where a lot more countries are accepting it, that merchants want to accept this? Is it a UX thing? Is it just trust? Like, how do we get to that point where everyone is ready and transacting with crypto all the time and maybe they don't even know it?
Yeah, I think one part of it's going to be time, right? And like I also think a lot of the things that I see as blockers is like very much like I live in the States, right? And crypto's not nearly as like widely adopted as like some of the places that like Decaf has experience with. Where like crypto is needed, and it was like needed yesterday, and you're seeing huge adoption there. So I think there's going to be time where people get more comfortable with crypto, and I really do think we're seeing it. Every day it like becomes less and less taboo to talk about it, and people are more and more interested. But I think what it really boils down to is having an experience that feels natural and is providing benefits. And like the issue there is always going to be adoption, right? Like, how do we have a conversation with a coffee shop and say, hey, I know you probably don't get asked this a lot, but you should probably start accepting crypto. And how do we like get them a little bit more open to it and show them that like this isn't going to turn away customers? It's actually like a better product. The loyalty program's better. The fees are lower. Like, I'm thinking about places like even like gas stations, right, where it's like you go to purchase something, and I don't know how many times I've walked away when you walk in and there's a $5 minimum. Like, never mind, like I'll just go keep pumping gas, like I'm not gonna spend $5, all I wanted was gum. They don't have to do that anymore, there's no more minimums. Teaching them that, showing them that's a reality, and it's not that difficult. And then again, it just really goes back to, we've done a lot of great work with the on-ramp. I'm really proud that we have like 0 fees. It takes like 3 minutes and you can start paying right away, but it's gotta be even better than that. It needs to be at a point where somebody can tap with a credit card and it gets swapped immediately into like USDC. The transaction happens on Solana because it's just a better way to transact, and then comes out the other end however they want it, using something maybe like Decaf Pay, where you actually get at the end of the day like your digital fiat, if that's what you want. But yeah, just education and showing people like it's worth the time and it's a better product.
Yeah. Can I add something?
Yeah.
I think I just want to add on to what Sweet has said, and I think Venta is the solution. Not only because like we have such an impressive tech stack, where our dream right from the start when we were building Monster is to make everything as seamless as possible, as easy as possible for like the merchants and for like the consumers. And I think with Venta, what we have did here at Breakpoint, using your bands to pay with crypto on Solana Pay with the selected smart features, or like with the barista who knew nothing but they are able to operate like a POS, so simple for them. I think that's the dream. So like I think if anyone or any merchant out there that wants to try, I think Venta is the solution.
Yeah. Well, I will also add something. Yeah, and I think that it's super important when people actually experience it and see that it is real. So an example is with Decaf, my parents would never understand what was I doing. Like, they didn't get it till one day I told my cousin that lives in the US, she sends money every month to my mom to give it to her brother. So I told her, you know what? Now you can start using decaf, and then you will save money, and the money will get faster to my mom. And then she actually did it, and in the moment that that happened, now my parents were like, it was like an aha moment. Like, now they actually get what is my business about, what are we doing? And I think that the same will happen in the payments space, that when people start seeing that they can use crypto to pay for things, but also that there is an easy way to send that crypto that they got to their bank account or get cash, is when the switch will happen, and then people will start adopting it. And I mean, we have been working on this for like 2 years now, and a big blocker that we saw was that the ecosystem wasn't there yet. Like, everyone was talking about NFTs and things like that. No one was really focusing on real life problems. But I think that now, 2 years later, the ecosystem has started to actually look at that. And we have seen like way more companies focus on payments, on and off ramps, all of this stuff that are popping up every day. Like, sometimes we are like, oh, now that we have this new potential partner, and then I think that that is something that is helping a lot, because now there are more people focusing on that, which will make that it is easier for these businesses to on and off ramp, because there are more partners, and if there are more partners, that means that the competition will be better, they will offer better rates, it's not predatory fees, it's not just, I don't know, MoonPay charging 9% to get on and off of the ecosystem. So I think that now we are getting into a moment where this is actually starting to make more sense.
Totally. I'm glad that your parents know what you do. My mom thinks I work at Bitcoin, which is obviously true. Another question I have is like, what is the dream scenario 5 years from now? Let's see, where is Solana Pay? Where would be the coolest use of Solana Pay that doesn't exist today? It's open for anybody.
It's tough. I feel like for every cool use, Solana Pay could exist. We just have to convince people to let us do it. That's kind of like my mentality. Like, we're looking at something like Breakpoint, the activation we have now. Like, something I talk about a lot is like, if anyone's familiar with like Lollapalooza, like way back, like 2 years ago, which is like ancient days in crypto times, Solana was at Lolla. And for anyone that's never been to like a music festival like that, but it's like everything happens on these wristbands. It was kind of like the inspiration here, where everything you're doing, you're tapping to pay, you sign in by tapping. I think it'd be awesome if that kind of stuff happens on chain. Like, going to an event like that, where you're tapping to go places and you're tapping to pay, and it's like, you're almost being tracked, but it's not attached to you because it's all on chain. They know you as like 3x483 lowercase j, whatever your wallet address is. So you don't have to give personal information. They just know you that way, and you can actually learn and like gain from experiences that way, whether you're buying a beer, whether you're checking in, whether when you walk into a certain stage, it's like, you saw this band, like, we will send to your wallet an NFT, like a PO app for seeing them. Also, if you've seen like 5 of our concerts, next time you see us next year and you check in, like, this hoodie's on us. Like, you're a loyal fan, you can prove it. It's like back in the 70s, like, they used to have like these like classic rock clubs, where it's like, if you were like a big fan, you could sit in certain sections and stuff, and it's like, that's kind of gone now, but like, you could bring stuff like that back. You can bring back like very real, tangible loyalty programs where it's not a punch card you can lose like I do every 3 minutes. It's like part of you, but it's still anonymous. Like, that's something that gets me personally really pumped.
I've heard a lot of big brands where that's actually a big problem, is that they have so many touch points across different mediums, being in person, all this sorts of stuff. And this is where we sell them as well, is basically, hey, you can have digital assets and they can add up to something else more meaningful in a way that you can engage more closely with the customer. So totally aligned.
Yeah.
How about you guys? What are the things that you would love to see Solana Pay be a part of?
I mean, I would like to see more adoption in like everyday people. That, for example, you go to the store and then you pay with USDC, but that person doesn't even have to off-ramp to a bank account or get the cash out and go back again to the same system. But just keep that money and then use that money to pay for other stuff. And you know what I mean? Like, get to this level where crypto is so adopted that it is just in the same ecosystem, and then people can transfer money internationally, can pay for things in the grocery store, and they don't have to be, again, going back to the same system and paying for fees and all of this. So that is what I would like to see, that money is being moved like internet, like being able to move money as easy as it is to send a text message on the internet, and being able to use it not just to transfer, but also from one country to another, but also to pay at the store, at the supermarket, and then have like this circular economy in crypto where people have more ownership of their money and don't have to be paying these predatory fees. That's my ideal scenario.
That makes total sense. I have a Venmo balance that I never off-ramp. It's just sitting in there,
Yeah.
just doing literally
I think we all do.
right? And so, yeah, it could be much, much, much better.
I think for me, it may be like, it may feel like I'm dreaming a little bit, but I think we can all dream a little. So like I was thinking, because I come way back from like events like managing Coldplay concerts like UFC and stuff. I think my ideal world would be having like these bands using crypto, doing like event check-ins, doing like registrations, and then you can tie it to like when you check in and check out. And then you can also like pay as you go, pay with your merchants. I want it to be as seamless as possible, where you literally feel like it's just another daily thing. Like you can take trains with it, you can spend at like a food court, and so yeah.
I totally agree. I think that like Solana Pay has so many different capabilities. We could use it for well more than just payments, right?
Yeah.
It can just be tickets. It can be all sorts of different things.
Yeah.
So we have about 3 minutes left. If there's any questions in the audience, we'd be happy to take one or two. Any takers? Yeah.
What's the most crypto-friendly jurisdiction if I were to found today? Which country would you found in if my company was to accept crypto?
Just to repeat the question, it is what is the most crypto-friendly jurisdiction for you to found your company if you are accepting crypto payments? Is that correct? Okay. Does anyone know?
That's a good question because we are still trying to figure out.
Yeah, let me know when you find out, and we'll join you.
Like we have been thinking about this for like more than 1 year now, and we're still like, I don't know. Maybe if you want to talk to Rick, he's the one in the team that is now like investigating. He can tell you about every country and what are his findings. But yeah, it is a tough questions, and it depends a lot on each company. What are you like? What is your business? What do you want? Like, are you in the US? You are in like, I don't know, many things.
Yeah, one thing I've found too is that depending on where you're operating, you do need to pay taxes. It's like not a way to get away from taxes. So like even in the context of the vending machines, the money has to go to different areas, right? So even though crypto peer-to-peer payments may be simple, operating with merchants and all them, they have their own restrictions too. Whether some folks cannot hold SOL for whatever reason. They only can do USDC. Sometimes they have to pay taxes. So it's also important to understand the local regulations too. It's not just peer-to-peer for everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Could probably take one more question if there's other things. Awesome. Cool. Well, thank you so much for talking about Solana Pay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.